I've read 236 business books, and let me tell you, honestly, most of them are a complete waste of time. But these 12, these are the ones that actually made me rich. These books changed the way I make money, I invest, and I run my businesses. And before you ask, no, I'm not including Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Why? Because it's the Purple Bible, and if you don't know that one, you're already behind. So real quick, if you don't know me, I'm Seth Bradley, real estate investor, capital raiser, and former big law attorney. I left a multiple six-figure corporate career because I realized I'd never get rich working for someone else, at least not wealthy. I don't mess with stocks, I don't waste time on 401ks, I build businesses, and I buy assets. So if you want to break free from the 9 to 5, start raising capital, and actually control your financial future, this is the list you need. This is the real playbook for financial freedom. The books that shaped how I build wealth. Just stick around. And at the end, I've got a book you'll never expect, but it might be the most important one on the list. All right, let's get into it. Book number 1. It is Robert Kiyosaki, Cash Flow Quadrant. Kiyosaki breaks down the 4 ways people make money: employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor. Most people spend their whole lives on the left side, trading time for money. The rich, they're on the right side, where businesses and investments make them money while they sleep. You know, I was making 6 figures as a lawyer, but I was still on the wrong side. That's when I knew I had to start buying assets. The second I understood this, what my man was saying in this book, I stopped thinking like an employee and starting moving towards financial freedom. Book number 2, Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Now, a solid morning routine is a cheat code for success. When I'm consistent with mine, I dominate. When I slack off, my entire day suffers. This book gives you a proven structure to start your day like a high performer. If you don't control your mornings, you don't control your life. One of the biggest takeaways for me was how much intentionality matters. If you wake up and immediately start reacting to your world rather than you dictating how you perceive the world, emails, notifications, demands, you're already behind. But if you take time to focus on yourself, set goals, and visualize success, you'll operate at a much higher level. This book will give you the tools to craft a morning routine that sets you up for success. Now, I do have to say that my morning routine has changed over time. I read that book, I had a very structured morning. I started out, I needed that discipline, but now I don't necessarily need it as much because I can really get into that flow, get into that zone a lot easier. I get up, I make coffee, I take my supplements, I sit down, and I start doing the hard work first. So that morning routine, whatever works best for you, sometimes you need that structure and discipline to get going. And then once you kind of harness how you can do that, you no longer need to take all those steps. Number 3, The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. Now, this one gets a lot of attention and also a lot of criticism. But this book, it taught me that time is the most valuable asset. It's really not about working less and working 4 hours a week. I mean, for some people maybe, but really it's about working smarter. Before reading this, I was deep in the weeds of every task, emails, admin, busy work. This book just showed me how to automate, how to outsource, how to focus on only high value moves. And if you're always busy, but not really making real progress, this book will change your mindset completely. Jump into that one for sure. Here we go. Book number 4, Traction by Gino Wickman. I still use this book every single day. Most businesses fail because they're a disorganized mess. No systems, no accountability. That was me when I started out. And that's how a lot of businesses start out. Traction fixes that. I remember when I first started to grow my real estate business and my legal business at the same time, along with the gyms and some other things. I had no clear structure, no direction, and frankly, I was working my ass off, but wasn't actually growing. This book showed me how to implement the Entrepreneurial Operating System, EOS, and you can adopt a name for yourself, like Raise Law Operating System for me, which is just a fancy way of saying, here's how to actually run a business that doesn't depend on you doing everything yourself. If you're stuck in the weeds, this book is absolutely mandatory. Book number 5, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Success isn't luck, it's built on habits. And this book lays them all out. The biggest game changer for me, Be proactive and focus on what you can control, not what you can't. Most people react to life and they wait for things to happen to them and to complain about them. But wealthy people, we make things happen. This book helped me move from being reactive to strategic. If you feel like life is happening to you instead of for you, this book will completely change your mindset. Be sure to pick that one up, read it every single year. Book number 6, The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. If you're doing everything in your business, then you don't own a business, you own a job. And that was me before this book. I used to think that being an entrepreneur meant grinding 24/7, and sometimes we still do, I still do, but all I was doing back in the day was creating a high-paying, high-stress job for myself, and that's not the point. This book showed me why systematizing your business is the only way to truly scale. Once I implemented these systems, I was able to step back, work on the big picture, and finally grow instead of just survive. Book number 7, The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. Most people wait way too long to launch. They overthink, they overplan, they never execute. This book teaches you the exact opposite. Launch first, improve later. I wasted so much time, like many of us, early on, just trying to perfect things before putting them out there. This book changed how I approach every single business. Now I focus on launching fast, testing, and adapting. If I'd read this earlier, I would have saved years, maybe decades. The best businesses don't come from perfect planning, they come from quick execution and constant learning. Book number 8, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Business is all about relationships, and if you don't know how to communicate, you're screwed. This book taught me how to build connections, negotiate better, and influence people without being manipulative, of course, but if you're gonna raise capital, you're gonna close deals, this book is an absolute must read. I apply these principles every single day. They're simple in concept, but they're harder to execute consistently. Whether it's working with investors, partners, employees, team members, this book is the foundation for strong relationships in business and also in everyday life. Book number 9, The 10X Rule, Grant Cardone. You know, he says a lot of controversial things. Some people give him flack, but this dude knows how to make money. Most people think too small, not Grant. This book forced me to build bigger, execute at a higher level, because everything worth doing takes 10x more effort than you expect. If you apply this mindset, you're gonna stop making excuses and you're gonna start making big moves. The most powerful lesson here to me, average actions, they lead to average results. If you want to dominate in business and in life, you have to push way far beyond what's reasonable. That's what separates high performers like us from everyone else. If you want success, this book will force you to raise your standards. Always do 10x more, aim 10x higher. All right, book number 10, Who Not How, Dan Sullivan. This one's incredible. Successful people don't ask, how do I do this? They ask, who can do this for me? Who can help me with this? This mindset shift completely changed how I run my businesses. Instead of wasting time learning everything myself, I hire experts, I ask for help, and I let them execute at a higher level. Before this book, I was stuck in the mindset of trying to figure out everything myself. Once I embraced the who not how principle, I stopped being the bottleneck in my own businesses. But now I focus on finding the right help, finding the best people to execute, finding experts in their fields rather than trying to do everything myself. So if you struggle with delegation, this book is an absolute game changer. Book number 11, How Elrod Strikes Again, The Miracle Equation. So this book, it's simple, right? Unwavering faith plus extraordinary effort. And I know that sounds a little kind of fluey, and that's not really me, and it might not be you either. But look, I mean, I say that mantra to myself every single day because it gets hard sometimes. So if you don't believe success is inevitable and you're not willing to put in the work, an insane amount of effort, then you're never gonna make it. One of the biggest lessons from the book is that mindset alone, it's not enough. You have to back it up with absolute relentless action. You can't just hope for success. You have to put in the work consistently every single day, no matter what, no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on, no matter what obstacles arise. This book will shift your perspective on commitment and perseverance. Remember that saying. Preach it to yourself every day when shit gets hard. All right, book number 12. I told you it would be a surprise on the list. I don't think this makes anyone's list for a business book, but number 12, The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. You've all heard of it, but let me explain. A relationship book? Sure. But business is all about relationships. If you don't know how to connect with people, you're never going to succeed at a high level. This book taught me that people communicate and they receive value in different ways. Whether it's clients, it's partners, it's employees, knowing how someone feels appreciated will change how you do in your business and how successful you ultimately are. For example, some people value words of affirmation while others need tangible recognition. Once I started applying these principles in business and you keep it in your head for all conversations, I became a better leader, a better negotiator, and a better connector. If you want to improve your ability to work with people, which you will, this book will give you an edge. A relationship book? Yes, but business is all about relationships. Remember that. If you don't know how to connect with people, you'll never succeed at a high level. All right, there you go, folks. The 12 business books you need to succeed in business and honestly in life generally. Read those 12, put them on repeat, read them every single year. Which book hit you the hardest? Drop a comment below. I want to know which one resonated with you the most. If you found this valuable, hit that like button or subscribe, whatever you're watching this on, and share it with someone who needs it. These books absolutely changed my life, and they can do the same for you. Now, go take action, read those books, apply those principles, and let's get this money. Let's go.